Hey guys, Happy New Year. This is my first video really of me speaking to you guys in 2015. If you guys didn't see my blooper reel from 2014, that was technically my first video of 2015. But am I boring you? Anyway, so I just wanted to say a couple things before I get started that I have mentioned in my other videos on my other channel, but this is my brand new camera that I did get for Christmas from Santa, and it is the Nikon D5200, and yes, that is how you pronounce it, by the way. I have been corrected, or someone attempted to correct me before, but you're wrong. I'm right. Secondly, if I talk kind of funny in this video, if I move my mouth kind of weird, it's because I have a really gnarly canker sore right here inside my lip, and it's driving me crazy, and it's rubbing like on my teeth and stuff. So anyway, that's happening too. Alright, so without further ado, I'm going to start talking about my senior year of high school. You guys have asked me to talk about this quite a bit. I know a lot of you are in this position at the moment, so let's just get started with the fun. Alright, so as always, we're going to get started with the classes. So I took 5 classes. Freshman through junior years, you can take 6, or you have to take 6 classes. And then once you're a senior, you can take 5. So you can either start later during second period, or you can go home early and leave after 5th period. So I started with first period and left after 5th because that was nice. And I took Anatomy Honors, Calc BC AP. Now this 3rd and 4th periods, I was in the dance room for 2 periods because I was a TA for intermediate dance during 3rd period, and then I had advanced dance during 4th period, as always. And then I had Lit AP during 5th period, which, Lit AP, I have a lot to say about that class. Now I also did drill team 2nd semester, but I think my senior year they moved drill team to 1st period, and since I already had a 1st period class, there was no way to enroll me in 2 classes, so I did it with getting 0 credit for it. It was, I think, 3 of us who took it and didn't get any credit for it, which I'm just going to give us props right now because nobody else seemed to. I was like, hey, we are doing this for free. Alright, so grade-wise, I did pretty well this year, I think. I got like almost all A's. I did get a B in Calc BC AP the 2nd semester, and I think I got a B the 2nd semester of Lit as well. But other than that, I think I got all A's. I can't remember. It's like, it's so irrelevant to me now, but I think that's right. Anatomy was a pretty straightforward course, as you can guess. It was anatomy and physiology. It was the honors course, so we dissected dead cats, which was real fun. I am so glad I'm not a cat person because I cannot even imagine having to dissect cats if you love them. Like, oh, ugh. And they were like drenched, I think it was in formaldehyde. I mean, the fumes of the chemicals used to preserve these cats like burned my eyes so badly. Even like through the goggles, I could still feel it, and like a bunch of us who were really sensitive to it would just like cry. It made my eyes water so bad. Every time we had to dissect them, it was like torture. Oh my god, they smelled, The regular classes dissected frogs, which looking back, I kind of wish I had just taken the regular class. Calc BC AP was Calc. I mean, it wasn't, and the only difference was that our teacher, I also had him for AB, he was so much nicer to the BC students. I mean, even on the first day of school, I remember he was like smiling and he was nice and he was like, hey guys, like welcome back. I think it was so weird. I think it was like, now that we were in the 2nd course of Calc, like he trusted us more, like he knew that we were at least semi-intelligent to make it this far, so he was like nicer to us. But it was the weirdest thing. We were all kind of like, he's very chipper today. But it was actually like the BC students, he's just way nicer to them than the AB students. So. And dance. So this was my first year TAing for dance, and it was an interesting experience. I will say that. I loved a lot of the girls, and some of them, you know, not so much. You could definitely tell who tried harder than others and who was actually just naturally more gifted than others. It was just a very interesting thing to observe and to help out with, help them with choreography and technique and stuff like that. And it made me look back at when I was on intermediate, when I was a freshman, how inexperienced I was at the time, and I didn't really talk to our TA that much. Like, yeah, like not a whole lot, but it's interesting looking at like the different perspectives because it is very different being in like the mentor position versus the mentee. And 4th period, advanced dance. Oh man. So So I did talk about my junior year and absolutely loving the team. The team was so strong. We were so good. Like legitimately, if any of my years on dance were to ever be a competition, like competitive team, because we never were. We were always about the arts and expressing and just having fun and stuff. But if there was ever to be a competitive year, it was for sure my junior year, and my senior year there was no way in hell we would ever be a competitive team. Now what happened was, my junior year was so freaking good, and I think it was like 8 people graduated that year. So we had a very small team. I think it was 13 or 14 maybe, and 8 graduated. So it was like almost everybody was just gone, and it was very sad. It was like they were so incredibly talented and so unique. They all had very different things to offer, but they were all just so freaking good. And so it was really tough to lose all of them. So after we had advanced auditions, I think the new team was 16 people. And I think there were only 6 returning members, so 10 new people to the team. Our instructor actually did let us know, I'm not really sure why she told us this, but she said that only 7 people actually had the scores to make the team. So when you go through auditions, there are 3 judges and they average out the scores, and you know, whoever's in the higher range and whatever. So 7 people. So 6 of us are returning. You can assume that the 6 of us got high scores and were legitimately on the team. That means only one of the 10 was actually good enough to be on the team. Like, that just blows my mind. Like, blows my mind. It was really hard because it was our senior year. It's supposed to be kind of like our prime, and this is, you know, this is what we're leaving behind, and it wasn't so great. Something I do have to mention, I did talk about artistic director interviews in my junior year videos, and I did get one of the artistic director spots, which, if you don't know what that is, it's like our substitute for captain. So it was me and my friend Wendy who were the artistic directors for the year, and that was good, but it was just really difficult to work with the new members because, I don't know how to say this without being like mean, but they just, some of them were good, a lot of them improved from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. But as far as technique level goes, my junior year was like so high. It was like at an all-time high. We were so in sync and just so good. I mean, we definitely had weak members. I wasn't like the strongest one by any means, but we were all like averaged out like up here, right? And then the new members from my senior year, they kind of came in like down here. So it was really difficult to like meet in the middle, like at least meet in the middle. But so many routines we had to like dumb down technique-wise. Like turns, you had to do a more simple combo. Or like leaps, you had to change it to something that everybody could do. Like, I feel like that sucks when you have to change your routine because your weakest links just can't handle it. And I know it's something that has to be done, but coming from such an amazing junior year experience with dance to go into this new team and have people who just couldn't do things, it was so that was dance. Yay. I also got to do my solo senior year. So senior year is the only time you can audition to do solos, and I did get to do mine during our May show, which is our last show of the year, and I did mine to Good Luck by Basement Jaxx. It was kind of like a jazz funk hip-hop sort of integration, and it was fun. I liked it. I'm still like proud of some of it. Some of it I'm like, what were you thinking? Alright, so moving on from dance, we get to go in the really fun category of Lit AP. Now, I've said this before, and I will say it again, Lit AP was absolutely the worst class I have ever taken in my entire education, entire thing. How long have I been educated? Like 19 years or something? Like, I can't even just, it was the worst. Now, the teacher who had taught Lit AP forever, she retired 2 years before me. So the year before us, they were like the guinea pig year for this new teacher, and then we were like the second generation. And she, I don't know, she like worked out the kinks and stuff during her first year and decided to just like torture us the second year. I don't really know what happened, but she hated my class. I had a 5th period, and she would give us assignments that she didn't give to the other classes because she just hated us. Like, she really just wanted to torture us. Now, I will say that there were some things that kind of warranted this sort of reaction from her, but at the same time, there is no reason to ever punish an entire class for something that only one person does, or two people, or just like a small group. You should never take it out on everyone, because that doesn't make any sense. It's not a teamwork class, like we all get individual grades. That's not how it works. They're not group projects or anything. So what happened was in the very beginning, very close to the beginning of the year, something happened with a guy in my class, and I may or may not have somewhat been a part of it. I was not involved. I didn't do anything bad, but I was around it, and the guy may or may not have been mentioned in my other videos. He did a bad thing, and I witnessed it, and I got called into the frickin' dean's office to talk about it, and I was like, you know what? I was a freaking innocent bystander, dang it, like I should not be here. Yeah, so he ended up transferring out of the class, but it was like the damage was already done, and she just hated us so much. Another thing about that class was we didn't learn anything. I don't remember a single thing that she may or may not have taught us in that class. We all did really bad on the AP test as well. I got a 3, which is passing, but it's by no means good. At least I passed, but like that's not anything. I just know. No, that's no. We maybe took one practice AP test in that entire year in that class. And I have friends, smart friends who are better at writing than I am, who didn't pass the AP test. Like, that's a big deal. And honestly, we kind of didn't want to do well because we didn't want to reflect on her well because she didn't teach us crap. So it was kind of like, where do we sit here? But it was awful. It was absolutely the worst class I've ever taken. I hated it. It was the only class where I literally dreaded it every single day. It was like a form of torture. I had it right after lunch, so we'd be out at lunch and then that bell would ring and it was just like all the blood would just drain from my face and it would just be like, time to die. I will say though that I really liked the teacher outside of class. She was really funny and sarcastic and just kind of out there and likable outside of class. It was like once you stepped over that threshold into the room, like it was all over. I don't really know how that worked, but I mean, it was very strange, but in that classroom, I hated her so much. Oh, there were only like 4 girls in this class during 5th period. The rest were all guys. So she literally separated us. Like she put one girl at each table. So we were all like we're like, really? Like, really? Just another ridiculous, like, one of my high school friends I'm still friends with, we still hang out pretty often. I'm actually gonna have dinner with her and Wendy on Wednesday. But we used to talk about high school and stuff back in the day, and she was like, she even said, she's like, oh yeah, I didn't really mind lit, but she hated your class. It was like very evident, even to the other periods, that she hated 5th period. I was like, why did I get stuck here? Like, I did not ask for this. Alright, so that's pretty much it for classes. A little bit about drill team. Since this was my senior year and I was one of the not one of the better dancers on the team, since drill team was our competitive side of dance. I did get a couple like features and stuff, and I've talked about this before, how at nationals I effed up the part right after my solo, and I never mess up, and I messed up there at nationals right after my solo. I wanted to stab myself in the face. Right after I did, I was like, are you serious, Katie? Pretty much all I did was prep too late for a turn, but I had never done that before. Not even in like any rehearsals or practices. Like, I didn't understand how that happened. I was so pissed at myself. A few other things to mention. So I did take this SAT my 2nd time my senior year. I think it was in like October or something. I got a 2010, I think, but that wasn't the score I submitted. Another thing to mention was I realized I didn't talk anything about like clubs that I participated in high school, which honestly I don't feel like are very important looking back on it. I was in CSF for a while, and I feel like that's kind of it besides dance and drill team. And then senior year I was in NHS, which is the National Honor Society. Now I understand that different schools do this whole process differently. Some people or some schools, anyone can get into NHS. Some schools it just, you know, a certain GPA to get into NHS. At my school, it was like the hardest club to get into because first of all, a teacher had to nominate you for NHS. You had to fill out this huge application. I think it was like 3 pages. It was like front and back. You had to answer all these questions, write out different classes you had taken. And it wasn't just based on academic merit. It was based on leadership. It was based on volunteering and just character in general. You had to like fill out all the stuff that you'd done outside of class and everything. It was a big freaking deal, and it was like a panel of people who evaluated your applications and stuff. And if you made it, the president at the time, who was my friend, who I was just talking about, she was the president, and I guess they called the parents of the students who made them to let them know that we were being abducted from our beds and then taken to like celebrate making it into NHS. Now, unfortunately, the night that they had to do it was the night after homecoming, or like the night of homecoming or something like that, and I had the flu. And this was also the year that swine flu was a big deal, and I actually had a friend who had swine flu. I had the regular flu. But unfortunately, I missed the homecoming game. I missed the homecoming dance. Not that I was going to go to that, but I missed that too. And I missed my NHS induction night, which I also don't really feel bad about because my other friend Wendy, the other friend, stop it, had to go, and she said I really didn't miss anything. Speaking of just dances in general, I didn't go to any my senior year, which isn't a big surprise. I never liked dances. It was another form of torture for me. But I did get asked to prom by one of my exes from my freshman year, but he went to school on the East Coast, but he was asking me to my prom. He sent me a Build-A-Bear. Like, he mailed me a Build-A-Bear. But I said no. So I didn't go. I did say no, which is terrible, and my mom was like, just go. And I was like, you know what? I don't like dances, and I just feel like it would be very evident that I wasn't wanting to be there. And I did feel bad about it, and I think it kind of set us back as far. He and I were really good friends, like we were very close. But I didn't want to go, and I didn't want to go with him either. I can't remember if there were any boys in my life my senior year because I didn't have any boyfriends, and I can't even remember like if there was anything at all other than that. I think there was, but it's not anything worth mentioning. Overall, my senior year kind of sucked, to be honest. I don't really have a whole lot of good memories from senior year. It was not my favorite at all, and it was kind of a bummer to like leave the school and to graduate high school in that position of just being like, well, that's the end of it. And you know, I didn't leave on a high note, and it was just kind of a bummer in that sense. But I mean, it's high school, and what is your problem? It's high school, and there's, you know, it's just one little step in your life, and my dog will not stop barking. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that. I hope you guys, if you're in high school right now and feeling kind of like out of place or just unhappy with stuff, just, oh my god. Like, it'll be over soon. Like, you don't really need to stress about high school. It's amazing how unimportant high school becomes once you get older. I mean, my second year of college, I realized that high school has like no importance to me whatsoever anymore. Besides a few friends that I have from high school still, other than that, I like have no care about high school. Like, when the reunions start happening, like, I really, like, I won't care. Will I go? Will I go, Joby? I might go. Might not. Depends. Alright, so that is it. You look very happy, so cute. Okay, we'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye!